Well, just sitting here waiting.
That was disgusting.
We're outside. Chillax.
And why did your whole body...
I had to push it out.
Why did your whole
have to wipe
body...
later.
Ew! Everybody, he just farted and it was gross. His whole body jumped up. Like, that's crazy.
That's a mature flatulence.
Is it?
That's what that is.
It's disgusting, bro. It better not smell bad.
Dude, we're outside. What's up? I'm Z.
Actually, I'm Z.
I was Z first.
It really doesn't matter. I'm the better Z. And we're here to spill some tea. And if you don't want to hear our tea...
You aren't.
If you don't want to hear our tea, then deuces.
Deuces, the name of the show. Let's get into the tea.
The first topic I want to talk about isn't even something that I was planning on talking about, but I just saw that they're rebooting A Different World on Netflix. How do you feel about that?
Is Netflix taking over everything?
It's gonna be based
like
on...
it's a Netflix original. Like it's like Fuller House, but for A Different World.
Yes, and it's gonna be based on the children of...
Yeah,
so
like Fuller
that
House.
was before my generation, so I never really watched A Different World. I've been thinking about watching it now.
World.
But it's gonna be based on the child of the two main...
Tupac and Jada. No, okay.
Boy.
The characters.
So how do you feel about that?
No, I'm kidding.
Do you think they should...
Yeah, why not? I mean, I watched all that with Zamaya a few times. Well, a couple episodes. I was like, this is the OG kid sketch comedy show.
What a time to be alive.
Before Quiet on Set came out and all that. But I don't see a problem with it.
You don't think
they did it with Fuller House, so...
Which turned out, well, I actually didn't. I don't think I finished all the seasons.
I didn't finish it either because I don't feel like I was the target audience. I mean,
Full House was
for
my jam.
Nostalgic
Mary-Kate
reasons.
and Ashley Olsen had a chokehold on me and my friends, okay?
They had a chokehold on all yeah.
Especially when they was doing all them little skits, the little
videos.
sleepover videos. Brother for sale.
For sale. I forgot how it goes, but I remember the video.
Like, man, and then they did
and that's how you capitalize. And they didn't even have that much of a show. Like, their mother.
They were literally just twins.
Marketing genius.
Because their sister is a way better actress than the both of them.
Oh, Elizabeth is
She's phenomenal. I'm like, where's she been at all this time?
Mary-Kate and Ashley weren't actors. They were personalities before they were anything else. They were a baby on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's true.
It's like, okay, we're going to be Mary-Kate and Ashley with a persona in all of these projects. And people are coming to see Mary-Kate and Ashley.
That's true.
That's
Mary-Kate and Ashley. What song is that? Is that a Kanye song?
Yeah.
I think it is. But yeah.
If you ask me.
There you go. Yeah. Anyways, well, Tia and Tamir are also, but they are like actors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's well, first off, they're black. So let's keep that in mind. And they were like 14, 16, 15.
That's true,
whatever.
when they broke onto the scene.
So yeah, I think they came in as like, we're acting. Mary-Kate and Ashley, their success was because of their parents. I think mostly their mother. I watched on documentary, so don't quote me on that. But it was like the unofficial story they did. And they were like, yeah, the mom's asking for all these things. She wants lunchbox deals, this, that, and the third. And it's all like,
smart.
That's called foresight. It's all like, oh, yeah.
And she did it without a sex tape.
That Michael J. Fox stuff?
Kris Jenner, I'm talking to you.
Who?
I said she did it without a sex tape. And I said, Kris Jenner, I'm talking to you.
She didn't need it. She's already the Kardashians. Yeah.
Well, that's my point. She like made a brand.
Yeah. And she saw it and was like, yeah, we're gonna capitalize on this. And like early on. And now they're like whole little empire. I don't know how their childhood may have suffered.
They're pretty weird right now.
Well, I don't know. We're, you know what I'm saying? People
They might just be
think
tired of the
socially,
spotlight.
but I don't know how growing up in the spotlight, especially for females.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's weird
you
if you're
know,
like 30 and you only date people who are like 60, you know?
that's what they do?
One of them.
That seems very strange.
And I don't even know if she's still with that person. I don't know
Especially-
details. So this is all,
Whoa.
there's a disclaimer in the
Whoa.
beginning, okay?
Whoa.
I don't know if they're
Yeah.
still together.
That is,
but
yeah, that's crazy because she worked with all those grown men early on. And not saying anything about them, but like psychologically, makes me
Yeah.
wonder.
Uncle Jesse's still fine. He popped up on my TikTok the other day and I was like, ugh, still fine.
Attractive guy. Yeah.
He is. He's probably short though. That kills it. Anyway, just kidding. Just kidding.
Light her up in the comment section.
Just kidding.
The best Wolverine was a shorter one.
Shout out to all the short kings. I'm just joking.
Okay.
Anyways.
I feel like that probably made it worse.
The other topic I want to talk about is
Except with your toes, bro. This is new,
I'm
bro.
getting them
It's
done
crazy.
this weekend.
It's like halfway your toe and then the other one starts.
It's not. First
How
of all,
long-
it's not 2 nails. It's gel polish.
Yeah, but how long have you been growing that out?
That's
Exactly.
how long it lasts. You have to literally. It's a whole process to get it off.
redone.
Get them done this
It's
weekend.
crazy. You guys like the tip of your toe.
Summer's over.
Good
I don't be
stuff.
showing my toes right now, so whatever.
Wow.
Anyways. Oh. Love After Lockup. Do you know that show?
I do not watch it. I'm aware.
Are you
of
aware
it.
of this situation
I
and
think Issa
scenarios?
made fun of it on Insecure with a couple of the shows that they made fun of.
Yes.
And also on what's the show about college? It was a movie.
College Hill?
No, the show is about there was a movie and it was Dear White People. Dear White People.
Oh, yeah.
The series. They also had a couple of spoof shows. I was in the show that was making fun of like actual reality TV shows. That's kind of like my whole thing. I think Puppies on Parole. Is it Puppies on Parole where they give people to dogs or something like that? It's,
Is this a real show or a spoof show?
it's a real show. It's a real show, but they've spoofed it. But it's like it has something to do with dogs and people when they get out of jail. But I haven't like actually sat down and like watched a show, but I'm familiar with it. I think South Park. Yeah, everybody's been, spoofed that show. What about them?
So you know what it's about?
Yes, I have an idea.
Okay. So how do you feel about that? So I'm just gonna give you a couple scenarios, and I just wanna, because I think like, what if
for
what
our
if this
viewers
was
who
one of my
don't know
siblings
and aren't like aware, is give a brief synopsis.
So basically, Love After Lockup. Okay, so it's become a whole thing. There's Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup, and
Oh,
Love
gosh.
During
the
Lockup.
spinoffs, bro.
And so
Is this all on
basically,
like the TLC, the Learning Channel,
I think
Discovery
this
Channel,
one's WeTV.
Animal Planet, one of those?
I think this one's WeTV.
Okay.
But it started, I feel like it started with Love During Lockup. So basically, there's some women out there and men who will purposely go to see who's on the pen pal site because that's their type. Some kind of just stumble into it. Some are in relationships before, and then their
What's a pen
significant
pal
other.
site?
Inmates can put themselves up on something like, hey, write me. And then they can get pen pals.
They're like on Tinder?
It's not Tinder, but I feel like it's probably similar.
So they're in jail and they have access to social media?
Well, depending on how much money they're getting put on their books and whatnot, they can go on computers. You can send emails. You could video chat.
So they're in there with Netflix. They're like,
But
yo,
some
I need
people
you to
do have.
get
So
my
there was
Netflix
this one
subscription.
dude who had a cell phone. He had his wife put Ring cameras up in the house. And he would randomly just hop on. Like the little boy was sitting on the couch. Why you eating in the living room? Just hopped on the phone from the prison. And he was like, well, we have an understanding here. Like, I'm kind of high up and I work with them. And so they really don't be saying much. But then when
This
it got
was
closer.
on reality TV?
Yes. But then when it got
They
closer
were just
to
showing
his.
the corruption on
Hello.
reality TV?
But then when it got closer to his release, he was telling his wife, like, I'm going to get rid of the phone so I don't get time added. So you was lying? You was trying to make it sound like you bigger than what you was in there?
So they release his episode after he was released?
Yes. What are they gonna do after that? They're not gonna do anything.
I'm just because it's like they're probably watching their inmate 1225668 What's he doing with?
Well, it's not live, you know.
That's crazy. But then the camera crew was like, "Hey, y'all can't come back because y'all messed us up." There was a season after this season.
Yes, there's so many seasons. So, anyways,
wow.
So that was one scenario. He had his wife put Ring cameras all over the house, in the kitchen, like everywhere. Like she had a friend over. He was like, "Who was that?" And he would just like randomly pop in there.
A girlfriend or a guy friend?
It was a girlfriend. There's another scenario though where this girl met a guy who is Native American and gets shmoney while he's in there monthly. Like he is funding her whole life. She don't work. She got a fat house, all this stuff.
Wait, the locked up guy?
Yes. Yes, because he's Native American.
So he's got like casino money?
Yes. So I was just thinking, I was watching it last night and I was thinking, if this was one of my siblings, like, because the scene that triggered this for me was there was a girl who was telling all her sisters, like she was finally telling them, like, hey, so I'm with Leandre, and they all know who Leandre, and they're like, Leandre in prison? Leandre who can't stay out of prison? Like, you know? And she was like, I was expecting my sisters to be a little more. Why would you expect that? Why would you expect that? And
wait, you met him in prison already and you started it? Like, why would you?
And she wasn't telling the mom, but one of the sisters snuck away and called the mom, and the mom pulled up on him anyway. But anyways, so I was just like wondering, out of all the siblings, I'm probably the one most likely to be in a situation like this. Not that I would do it, but I'm saying if I had to choose out of the siblings, most likely it would be me. So I just...
What are you saying about your choices thus far?
It has nothing to stop. That is not what I'm saying. But out of all of us siblings, I'm the one that's the most...
All the thirsty guys watching are like, oh.
Stop. Out of all of us siblings, I'm the one that's the most...
Your many exes are like, what you trying to say?
They're
watching right now. On parole.
I'm saying out of all of the siblings, I am the one that's most like, oh, everybody deserves a chance. Da, 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 da. Even though I'm not as bad as I used to be. But out of all of us, I'm the one that's most like that. So
I think that's what you're saying.
I just wonder like how you would react if I like have a family dinner and I'm just like, so.
The way I reacted when I found out who you was getting married to. No, I'm kidding. I was like, of course.
That's how you would react, of course. If I was like, so I met this guy, I'm in love. His name is...
Yeah, no surprise here. I mean, I like
Jacob, and he's been in prison for 5 years. I was going to say a very ghetto name.
Is he black? Is he black? Is he at least black?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think
we're gonna get married. I'm gonna marry him while he's in prison.
Well, I don't know, dude. Like, it's your life, and I kind of felt like when I look back on my brotherhood, I'd be like, yo, I feel like I failed in some areas because I should have been like a better example to you on like what a man should be to a woman. And this is what I would think.
Now my exes is probably like, what do you mean by that?
Well, exactly however it sounds, bro. Like, so I'm like looking at it, and because it's like, I wasn't like out there, but like I was out there for like me. So I'm sure if you compared me, but like if I could do it again, although I'm more like 5 years older than you, so I was still growing myself.
Yeah,
I would treat you like, I treat my daughter, or like, my niece.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did the whole Black Queen Appreciation Week.
Mm-hmm. It's
like take you out, like I'm gonna take you out and treat you. And then if you do go out with a man, this is what you should expect. This is what your expectations should be. I would have done more stuff like that, but I didn't. 1, 2. Even if I did, one thing I learned
decisions gonna be decisions.
Dealing with family members is like, when it comes to relationships, sometimes you just let people be in their relationships. You know what I'm saying? And I can help what I can help. I'll say that. I can help what I can help. And I don't mean like from the other person. I mean, if I hear about somebody putting their hands on a family member, there's no telling how I react. And it's like, oh, well, they stabbed the other person. Am I going to care about that really? Probably not. I mean, maybe later on. But when it comes to making sober-minded decisions,
yeah,
like no, because there was some stuff that I heard, and I was like, with you, I was ready to hop on a plane. I was like, oh, well, all right, let's get on a plane. Let me get with the other family members. I'm like, hey, we're gonna have to go have a conversation with somebody. So I mean,
yeah, that's why I was always very selective with what
you shared.
Yeah, because I know Uncle Ken crazy.
See, like I ain't dropping no names.
And Weedy crazy.
No y'all names crazy. That I drop.
I don't care. I'll drop names.
You
and y'all can know
names.
that they crazy. Because just know if you roll up, I got crazy family members that's coming for you. Anyway, yeah. So I was just thinking with that. I was like, I wonder. I know mom and I know dad. I know how he'd be like, well, he can't come to this house. That wouldn't happen anyway.
Well, they would. Yeah, he's in. Was he about to be released in this scenario? Like,
well, eventually,
until he stabs somebody. Like, so I have bad news, guys.
You guys be like, is he even real?
And y'all like, yeah. I mean, is I like, so what is he funding you or are you funding him? I just be all like,
majority of the situations on there.
I just need the money you owe me now before.
That's majority of the situations on there. Like this one girl came out and like the dude proposed. I was like, oh, you're a sucker. She's playing you. I just knew it. He like bought her a new truck. He bought her a whole apartment in a different state.
So what are they doing in jail that they are producing this money?
No. This is the guy who was out.
Oh, she
met her. She was in. And she gets out. He proposes to her on the first day. She says yes.
But everything's in my name.
Okay, and then like a week later, she was just like, I just have so much anxiety. This is just making me feel too smothered. I've been by myself. I don't know. But if you have to take your truck and stuff back, that's fine. And he was like, no, you can keep it.
So
then fast forward like not 6 months, probably like 2 months later, she's driving in the truck. And like, you know how, reality TV, they're not showing who she's talking to in the driver's seat. And she's like, I'm so glad we were able to make this work. You're so sexy. Like, you're my husband now. She went and got married. And it was a completely different dude.
And they edited it so it was like a reveal. And it was all like, what?
And it's a completely different dude.
I mean, I would say that there's probably could be some truth into that. Because, Jake, you've been in this situation and this has been your life. So when you get out, there's going to be a transition. But, I mean, why would that guy make all of these decisions?
Just
and
lonely,
you don't even know
what
this person is like.
I'm so in love.
Coming out of, like if I could do it over again, somebody was all like, hey, because I knew Callie was six months, but I was like, after 6 months, if I'm with you 6 months, I know if I'm gonna decide to like, love you for the rest of my life or not, which is legit for me. But the guy, he was like, I would just say at least 12 months of knowing somebody so you can see them in all of the seasons. I was like, it's deep.
Yeah.
It's deep. But that's what I would suggest, seeing somebody like in all of the seasons, not in a certain situation. Because this situation isn't going to be our situation forever. Right. So really no situation is, even if it's like, yeah, y'all broke living paycheck to paycheck now, but we're building towards something. So it's not always going to be like this. And I think that's what happens in relationships. You feel like, oh, it's always going to be like this, whether that's for the bad or whether that's for the good. Nah, it's going to change. It's going to evolve because that's what happens with everything. So I think maybe it has a lot to do with maturity. I don't know these people socially, but it's like,
I don't think anybody should be getting out of prison and jumping into a relationship unless it was one of those couples that we were together, we've been married, my spouse got in trouble, and then they held their spouse down or whatever.
Jumping into
that's
a relationship.
Different.
That's just coming back home.
Right. So anyway, I was just curious about that. And then another topic that I also thought of because of my reality TV. This one was fueled by Sister Wives. Cody Brown.
I don't know who that is.
All this drama. He had 4 wives, 3 divorced him. He has a million children. I think it's like 18 kids between all of them.
So Sister Wives. So he has like 3 kids with each wife?
No, he has like 6 kids with one.
But he has multiple wives.
Mm-hmm.
He just had all his kids with one.
No,
1 or 2?
I just said he has like 18 total, I think, between the 4 wives.
So he has 4 wives.
He only has 1 now. He's monogamous.
What happened? He got
because the other 3 left. No. But he's not talking to any of the kids except for
they're adults.
The ones that he has with the wife that he's with. Some are adults. One's like 12 or 13. One's like 17, you know. And then he actually had a child commit suicide. That we're just not to that part of the show yet. But in this last episode, he was saying him and his monogamous wife were arguing because she's like, you need to reach out to your kids. Like, you're not even trying. He's like, why would I want to? All they want to do is gossip, and all they want to do is tell me this, and it goes 2 ways, and they can come to me and did it. And he was like referring to them as these people, which I thought was weird. But do you think, so let's say time goes on, Zamaya's 17, 18.
There's nothing my daughter could ever do that would prevent me from chasing after her and pursuing her.
Even if she was upset with you, you would be like reaching out, no matter how old she is.
She's my child. Second off, she's my daughter and I'm her father. So for me, that's a whole like added layer of women are the ones who should be pursued. Like, you know, to a degree, but I don't want her to take that relationship with me and then now that's going to be applied to her choice in a life partner. And she's all like, oh, Mom, I met this guy. He's in jail. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I wouldn't, with any of my kids, like, you know, spoiler alert for Star Wars, if you ain't seen the reboots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, when Hans got stabbed by Kylo, I was like, I get it. It's like, I get it. I'll react the same as like my kid. What you want me to do? It's my kid. What do you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I feel like, especially with my daughter, there is nothing to where I would want her to feel like he doesn't want me or he doesn't want to talk to me. It's all like, nah, my dad has consistently made it a point to make sure that I know that at least he knows that I'm special. So there's no situation.
So in the parent-child relationship, no matter what the age, it doesn't matter if the child's 30, if there's a rift or something going on major that happened in the family and the parent and the child aren't talking, you think it's always the parent's responsibility to fix that relationship with the child?
Yeah, I would say the more mature person, and ideally the more mature person would be the parent, since you're raising and shaping this young life. So yeah, I would say I would hope so. But the responsibility to mend any relationship falls on the parties in the relationship. Both of you. You know what I'm talking about? Like if you want there to be a relationship, then do things to where there's a relationship. I will say that to both people. But ultimately, whose decision I feel like it is, I feel like it should be, you know, the parent. Like you're the parent. But at the same time, well, you're both adults.
Yeah.
But for me, so like that, like, nah, like listen, consistency is key. Like I've always been this. So you know that to be fact. So now that you're acting emotionally, what's right? What you know or what you feel right now. And I think that's the importance of consistency, period.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like whether you're adults or not, it's always the parent's job because you are the parent. I feel like it's always the parent's job to reach out and try to fix it. And I feel like depending on how bad the situation is, you can get into situations like Cody and one of his wives, unfortunately, are finding themselves in. And I'm not trying to sit here. Mental health issues, some addiction, other things played into their child deciding to ultimately end his own life. But right before he did it, he sent out a group text to Cody, the producers of the show, and was like, said something to the effect of, I want to hate you for showing the good times, something. But he hadn't been talking to his dad, and he sent out that group text to him and his mom and the producers of the show before doing that. So it's like that's some inkling of the thoughts that were on his mind. And it just stemmed from, in that particular situation, it was over COVID. Cody wasn't talking to any of his kids. He was mad that his adult sons were still hanging out. He was trying to kick them out of the house. Like, that's kind of like the spiral we started to see, where he was just choosing this one family over everybody else. One of his daughters, she won't even let the grandkids see him because she's like, you're not going to be consistent. So like, you're not going to pop in and be like, oh, hey. And like, no. So it's a whole mess. But just some of the things he was saying, I was like, I wonder if there's other people out here who feel like this, because this is just wild for me to hear. It's definitely giving narcissist, because that is your child and you are the parent.
A lot of people feel that way.
That's crazy.
And I'll
me.
be honest with you, man. I remember I was talking with somebody, and it was about marital stuff. And I was like, I don't feel appreciated for things that I do. Like if I'm helping out with the kids, was one of the things that I said. And he was all like, well, that's what you're supposed to do. So you shouldn't get appreciation for that. I'm like, that's stupid. That's dumb to think that anything that you do shouldn't warrant or doesn't warrant appreciation based on an expectation. The facts are, you don't have to look out for those kids. The facts are, you don't have to be there. So to show appreciation, that's all like, yeah, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being active in their lives the way that you are. It's like, that's worth something. And I think that that's what it comes down to, especially like the Black community. It's all like, well, it's clear that you're a good father. So it's expected for you to be a good father. All right. But we should also acknowledge that to like the good fathers. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you don't say something unless it's something that's negative. It's like, hey, I just want to thank you and appreciate you for what you are doing. The stuff you do with the kids makes it to where I don't have to do it. You fed them, so now I don't have to worry about feeding them. And that's just factually, instead of looking at it as like somehow that doesn't count. Like it does count. And it counts because if it's not there, then you see effects when kids like grow up. So
I don't think he meant it as it doesn't count. It's just what you're supposed to do. I'm overall, like, looking at the big picture, definitely more on his side with that. Like, you are a husband, you're supposed to take care of your kids. However, if that is your love language or something that you've articulated to your partner, hey, this is something I need that feeds me, then okay, your partner knows that, and then you guys can make an effort to try to meet each other wherever you're at with each other's love languages. Like, if you know that's something, be like, hey, I appreciate you for that. But just off
I would like
rip,
to pose a scenario. You're in a relationship, and you're doing things. Your spouse doesn't acknowledge you for those things, but somebody outside the relationship acknowledges you for those things.
give me a specific example.
You need a specific example? Oh man, like dude, like hey, you knocking out the park, mom wise. Like I see that you juggling the job and you still be cooking and you still be cleaning, and then I see you still got the hobbies going on, and then like what you doing here and whatever the relationship of our relationship is, things you do here. It's all like I just wanted to let you know that like you're you're knocking out the park, you're doing good. This down the third.
For sure. And
But
the
you
spouse
never
is
hear
not.
that from your spouse, right? It's going either way, either sex.
Mm-hmm.
Then how do you feel hearing that from somebody outside of the relationship?
I just be like, oh, thank you, and keep it pushing.
That's it? Okay. Well, I feel like if in the relationship.
But that's also not my love language. That's also
I don't think
not
it has to do with your love language.
That's also not what
because
fuels
when
me.
you learn, so ABA, right? Because our son's autistic. They talk about the whole positive reinforcement.
Mm-hmm.
When they would tell us this, they're like, and this also works in like everyday relationships. It's like being constructive. So when you see your child do something, it's all like, when you see your child do something, communicate, yes, this is good. Do more of this. Just like you would when you say, don't do that. So just on a general basis, a lot of times it's all like, yeah, you get good grades. All right, cool. Now when you get a bad grade, now we're going to draw attention to, wait a minute, what's going on with this? It's expected for you to have a certain amount of grade, a certain caliber of grades. Now when you don't meet that caliber, now we're drawing attention to it versus being all like, we're drawing attention to you doing what you're expected to be doing because that's a good thing. So it's what I'm saying is the reinforcement. It's like negative things are getting reinforced more than positive things.
Mm-hmm.
So then on the outside, oh, well, they're reinforcing me for stuff that I do that's positive. And I think that it goes to your psychological, like how you're looking at things. It's like what you just said. It's like, well, that's expected of you, but that's not expected in every culture. It doesn't feel like you should have a certain level of involvement and different things like that. So if you also look at that in the culture, it's like, okay, well, now there can be this pressure that's applied. And because I'm not hearing that this is good, then it's like, well, what's it really worth? Now, what am I attaching my worth to?
But if you were in that culture, then you would be living according to that culture. I hear what you're saying, but I feel like it just goes to what feeds you. And I think for majority of men, that's something that they need and that they want to hear. But for me, like, and this could just be the type of person I am. And for me, it's like sometimes it comes off like condescending or like I just don't need to hear good job being a mom today all the time. Now, if there's a particular like tumultuous time, I'm super stressed, I'm doing a lot, and my partner is like, hey, I know there's a lot going on right now and you're killing it. Like this too shall pass. Like a talk like that. Okay, sure. But like all the time, it's just not needed for me. I'm more of a like do actions thing. So if you do see that's going on, and you want to like, then maybe just jump in and help. But I don't need I don't know. Or be like, hey, I got you. I'm going to rub your feet because you've been doing a lot or something like that. But I don't need a like, good job.
So the feet rub.
Good job.
That's something you only need occasionally. Or is it like, hey, I do this
that was just an example of like actions.
Hopping on the example with the actions versus being verbal. Because I mean, honestly, still, it's all like, it's still a form of appreciation. So it's still like, hey, I appreciate what you do. Because if it's just like the whole rigmarole, this is just what happens, then it's like, okay. But if it was absent from my life, it would be a very noticeable difference. So the fact that it's there, I appreciate that it's there because there's needs being met, this, that, and the third. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot like, okay, so if you weren't here, I would like, still get it done. It's like, well, what's the point of me being here? You don't need me? You know what I'm talking about? It's like, no, I do. Hey, no, yes, all the things, your attributes, thank you for attributing
that's a man
and
thing.
contributing. I mean, I don't really say a man thing, but I would say generally,
majority
probably
of men.
most likely, and it probably has to do with the way, society is set up, but it's also legit.
Men want to feel needed. They're fixers. That's why when you have conversations with certain men, they try to just jump to giving you solutions and you're like, just venting. Didn't already have a solution. Just telling you what happened. And that's why I've gotten to a point where I'm like, hey, I'm not looking for solutions. I'm just telling you this.
Well, that's good communication. That's how it should be. Because then, you know what to expect. But I think that goes either way. I know that, men's brains process things differently than women's brains, generally speaking. But I feel like, yeah, what you said is like, yeah, but it doesn't negate the fact or facts. And that's what I'm talking about. The facts are, yes, you're doing A, B, and C. And I don't feel like it's right for it to be overlooked. And I think that's what happens. A lot of times it gets overlooked, or we overlook it in ourselves and be all like, dude, what am I doing with my life? And now you're having this existential crisis where you're like, oh, you're thinking about all of these things that you're not doing, and you're not looking at all the things that you are doing. But this is like what the environment is. It's like, well, that's expected of you. So it's like those things don't count. So even though you're not saying they don't count, you kind of are saying they don't count if you're not acknowledging them. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I still don't necessarily agree, but it makes sense.
You don't have to agree. They'll agree in the chat for sure. If
Drop
y'all like, whoa,
a comment.
Psychologist Shepherd strikes again.
Don't label yourself as he's absolutely not a psychologist.
Psychologist
or a psychologist.
I think psychologist sounds really good. Actually,
the more I think about it, I feel like we're saying the same thing, just in different.
Oftentimes, that's
so
how it is.
How
do you feel about a lot of times you would post stuff and I'll be like, oh, my sister's so cute. How would you feel when you see those comments? Like on like Facebook? Like even before like I came back out here. Do you pay attention to those? Did you even see those?
Mm-hmm.
Was all like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I know I'm cute.
Oh, okay.
Am I lying? No, but it's just like, oh,
Yeah, it makes you feel some kind of way, right? Makes you like, oh yeah. Cool.
Like, oh yeah, I know.
So I mean, I think that's where I'm at. The endorphins that are released. I do feel like that stuff that should be in a relationship. That stuff that should be found in the relationship. Whether it's parent child, whether it's spouse to spouse. I want you hearing it from me, so you don't get it from somebody else and be all like, "Whoa, wait a minute. How come I'm not hearing this from the people that's supposed to be closest to me?"
Yeah,
so that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to communication with your your spouse. That's something that needs to feed you. So anyway,
I feel like it's something everybody needs. Even if you say, well, it's my love language, I don't need it. It's like, yeah, okay. Well,
occasionally,
we're still gonna get it.
But like, I don't want to be told every day.
Well, I'm really talking about every day.
Like, oh, the kitchen looks really good. Good job on doing those dishes. I take that as condescending.
And why do you think that is? I think it has to do with like the way it's looked at. It's all like, well, because it's like, well, I don't want to tell them they're cute because then they're gonna feel like they're cute. So I'm watching a regular show again. Such a good show. And Mordecai and what's the name? The other bird that he was talking to?
I don't even know what show you're talking about.
You never watched a regular show?
Mm-mm.
Mordecai and Rigby? Skips, Pops? Oh, wow, it's crazy. He likes his girl, and he's super awkward about it. And he's like, she can tell. Everybody can tell. But he's just all like all up in his head about stuff. And I just feel like that stuff can be negated in a house where it's all like, yes, we acknowledge everything instead of just certain things.
I've seen like a little bit of the regular show before, but I just didn't watch it.
Yeah, that's a good. I
think 2010 is when it came out.
It's like 8 seasons. It's on Disney Plus.
It's because I was a mom of 2 by then.
Oh well, then you had kids. You should have been watching. That was your excuse.
This is not.
It's your excuse to watch it, and it's like, oh shoot, okay,
a show my kids would have watched. It
isn't.
Age.
It isn't. I feel like guys 18 to 25 is probably the 18 to 35. I think the demographic.
A toddler.
They said it on the show.
And an infant. So
the point, it would have been animated, and they would have been like, "Oh, it's cartoons," and you could see there's plots and stories to it. That's why I think it's cool. The point is that I just look at that and these expectations, and then how we grow up, and it's all like, well, yeah. Instead of coming out and telling somebody like, "I like you" or "You're doing a good job," it's like, well, I don't want them to get like a big head or think that, but you don't have a problem with saying something that is, not necessarily positive. Where it's all like, well, it's just an observation. If I say, I don't like your top, it's an observation. Where it's I'm observing like, hey, I see your top, but I don't like it. It's information. And if I say, hey, I see your top and I like it, it's information. But then how are we taught and brought up to process said information?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all like, well, I need to hear it every day because then it'll become kind of cynical. It's all like, well, shoot, why is that? And I'm deep. I get it. Everybody's not like that. But for me, I'm all like, it's intriguing. See
It's
the face
such
you're
a
making? Girl, please. So I'll be like, I'll process like everything. I'll be like, why do I have these feelings? I am
a psychologist.
I'm not really a psychologist, but I am really deep. That's how I've been created. You know, talking about they're like, "Are you overanalyzing stuff?" And I'm all like, "Well, that's true. That's a characteristic that I do. I analyze stuff. And as I've grown into like, oh, okay, it's not over analytic. It's not a positive or a negative thing because I can
think
see
Dad might do that.
This is how I am, and it's all like I don't hold other people to the same standards that I hold myself to, but I'll be all like, why am I feeling this way? Like, what's causing these feelings? Like, there's some feelings I have.
I don't think that's over.
I've been telling myself, I'm all like, oh my gosh.
I think that's just wanting to be like, why? I don't think that's over analytical.
I think it is. Because some stuff isn't it's not that serious. It's not really affecting me that much. But I want to like dissect my brain and my feelings so I can understand it. Because then I feel like I understand other people better. And I'm all like, okay, I can empathize better if I can like understand what's going on. Why is this feeling causing me to act this way? Okay, so now when I see somebody else, you know, I feel like that'll make me a better. Doesn't mean
it's the same for that person though.
Minister. Yeah, you know what empathize means, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. So if I have a better understanding about myself because I'm people, I'll have better understanding about somebody else because they're people.
Humans. Human, the song Human by Dodie. Obsessed with it right now. There's this line where she says, "Will you share your soul with me? Unzip your skin and let me have a see." It's fire.
Andre 3000 said it first.
It's a good. That exact line?
Not an exact line, but pretty much. He pretty much said that first. I think it's She Lives in My Life. No, it's not that one. Take Off Your Cool. Take Off Your Cool. Yeah, listen to those lyrics. I believe it's Take Off Your Cool. And if it's not, it's one of the songs on there. All of them was deep. Me and 3000 are both deep.
You don't gotta convince me. I love me some Andre 3000. He's still fine too. He is Asian, like he's so fine. Anyways.
Aging. He's aging, not Asian, because it sounds like Asian.
He's aging. Aging like fine wine. Him and Method Man. Anyways.
You know he's vegan. Like me.
A real vegan who
for sure.
Eat processed.
He does not mess with no Impossible Nuggets, for sure. For sure. I'm like, dang, I should go real vegan. Like, I've said that to myself. I'm all like, see, Dre, real vegan.
He's so fine.
Six-pack on deck.
That's it. That's all I have for today. Thank you for chatting. Yeah, thank you for giving me your input.
Yeah, I know you're not gonna listen to it because you never did.
I'm gonna go jump on the Pen Pal site and find me an inmate.
That's crazy.
Just to get on the show and maybe like act a fool with this family, and then we'll see what happens from there.
For it, because they'll be all like, "Hey, so the brother, he should have a spinoff."
Yeah, that's psych. I've thought about doing reality shows so many times, and I'm just like, I don't want to like be pegged as like a reality TV person.
I thought about doing a reality show, like following mom and dad with a camera and then like editing it together.
That would be funny.
It would. I mean, it would. This is a while ago. You know, when dad was a lot more mobile and stuff like that. And I was all like, dude, like, bro. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Do it with that equipment you're getting.
I need people. Can't do everything myself. I need people.
That'd be fun. We should just do it ourselves when I finally live out here. Not right now, because I have a 30-minute drive. Speaking of, let's wrap this up. Go follow us on all the things: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X.
Subscribe.
And subscribe here. Turn on your notifications. Get in the comments. Get active. Like, where y'all been? Y'all had a lot to say. We was talking about Kamala and religion. For real, and bro. Now y'all want to be quiet. Like, jump on it. Speaking of politics, real quick. What is our time at?
Like it matters.
Okay, I'll just say it real quick. So today I was listening to The Tea with Jason Lee. And
listen to us first though. Go ahead.
he was talking about how, Kamala, you raised all this money. You raised however many $1 billion and you're spending none of it with Black media. She's not done any interviews with any Black media. He's been calling her out on it. He's met with her himself and been like, you need to do this.
She didn't go on Oprah?
Did she go on Oprah? Is Oprah Black media? Black, he said.
Isn't Oprah Black media?
He said, is she on her, is her show on her network?
Oh, what's the definition of Black media?
He's
I think a Black person in
owned,
media.
Not, what did he say? He said Black owned, not Black targeted.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Was that her responsibility?
And he was saying how Biden spent, he had the exact number, how much Biden spent when he was doing his thing. He was out doing it.
Yeah, well, let's look at the difference. Who her people are. So, like, hey, you're already Black, so.
And that's what he was saying. He was like, he said, I know it's probably your team, but you're responsible for your team, so you need to fix it and you need to come see. And I guess he was going off on Instagram about this.
She just started running last week.
And people were trying to be like, yeah, go Trump in the comments because he was saying that. And he was like, let me be clear. That is not what I'm saying.
What? That's what you get. See, that's the problem. That's the problem.
That is the problem.
Goodness gracious.
He goes, I'm still going to vote for her, but I'm still also going to hold her accountable.
But that's the point. You're not really holding her accountable because you're still going to vote for her. All right, thanks. I really need you because I already got your vote.
Right.
I'm not saying that's how they're thinking, but this is what I'm talking about. The mindset.
Yeah.
You should be here. Why do you feel like you're owed anything? You just said exactly what the team said. So why am I going to waste time? Essentially, I just started running a week ago. I got to make up ground. Do I really need to have that much FaceTime with you who most likely are already like, I bet I just want to see some representation. So I'm most likely to vote for you. Okay, cool. Yeah. The percentage wise, it's all like checkers and chess. Checkers and chess. You want her to come and play checkers and she already played chess by you saying, I'm still going to vote for her. Rest my case. You heard what he said? You heard what he said? Okay, exactly. Thank you. What did you do? Some reality TV? Like, come on. We need to get on bigger numbers, get you out there with bigger. Exactly. Ridiculous.
That's a good point.
Now that's going to be the thumbnail. It'll be more popular than the others we've talked about. Checkers, Ching! Not chess.
Anyway, subscribe to all the things I just mentioned before we threw that little bonus topic in. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And on that note, should we say
deuces?